3, 2, 1, go. All right.
Today on the morning edition, the Iditarod is officially underway. The ceremonial start took place on Saturday in Anchorage, followed by the start in Willow on Sunday. We'll bring you the sights and sounds and the current leaderboard of the race so far. Plus, Juneau begins work on a major renovation to Marine Park. We'll let you know what the plans are and how long it may take before you can see those results. And later, have you ever had the desire to water ski, but it's on land, but behind a horse and in the snow? You know, when we put it that way, it doesn't sound nearly as fun. We'll check it out at the event in Colorado later as the morning edition starts now. Good Monday morning, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. Ski joring. Very different, being pulled by a horse and being pulled by a dog.
Hey, we got to find any way we can to enjoy the snow across the northern hemisphere.
Absolutely, and we got quite a lot of that a little bit towards the end of last week.
Yeah, and we did even see some of that light snow flurries yesterday afternoon across parts of South Central, but that activity has tapered off, and in return, we do have colder conditions that have settled back in across South Central, and we're also going to be watching the return to drier and sunnier weather, not only for South Central, but a good portion of the state, as we are going to see much quieter conditions taking hold this week. With that said, temperatures are going to be about 15 to 30 degrees below average from what we typically see for March standards. Now, here in South Central, as we continue to progress through March, we should be seeing our afternoon highs approaching the lower 30s. And that is not going to be the case this week as we stay in the teens. You can see current conditions this morning: 0 degrees in Wasilla, 5 below in Willow, 13 below in Soldotna. So we are beginning to see some of those sub-zero values making a return to South Central, and that will stay with us the next couple of mornings across the region. The only thing that will prevent some areas seeing those sub-zero values will be some gusty gap winds, which will develop across South Central the next few days. There is some light areas of some snow showers as you head out towards southeast. That's really the only area of the state that we continue to see some active weather. With that said, we do have parts of the slope where we are still holding on to some gusty conditions, which will lead to some areas of blowing snow. But in terms of snow accumulation, we have to head out towards southeast where we are still holding on to at least the next few days, 2 to 3 days of holding on to some snow showers. Temperatures today will warm into the mid to upper teens across South Central. Some locations could manage to warm into the 20s, but largely expecting many areas of the state to hold on to this colder weather pattern as we head through the rest of this week. We're also trending towards much drier weather across the state with those snow showers for areas of southeast through at least Wednesday. I'll have more on that 7-day forecast for you, as well as what to expect in terms of those temperatures coming up.
Gas prices continue their rapid ascent at the pump in reaction to the conflict in Iran, with the national averages seeing a rise of nearly 50 cents from an average cost a week ago. Last week, the national average sat at $2.99 a gallon and is nearly at $3.50 now. Here in Alaska, we've seen a nearly 30-cent increase week over week. But with oil prices continuing to rise, the price per barrel now over 100 on the global market, sitting at 104, but having spiked as high as 119 earlier in the morning, according to oil price. Doyon says in the last week, it's taken down more of that rig that toppled to the ground in January. It has now removed 54% of Doyon 26. That's up from about 47% at the end of February. These are new photos from Doyon 20 Inc. Crews have recovered about 2,500 gallons of product, which is more than half of what was initially thought to have spilled. Doyon also says crews found another 135 gallons of spilled product, which this time is hydraulic oil. But it says it stayed in the structure and did not go outside of the rig. They also removed 515 gallons of unspilled hydraulic oil from the rig. In the early morning hours of August 10th, 2025, in southeast Alaska, only a few people were nearby when a large landslide fell in Tracy Arm and created an equally large tsunami. Now we are hearing from a scientist who saw the site south of Juneau firsthand just days after Mother Nature left a scar on the land.
In my job with the Alaska Volcano Observatory for 20-something years, I've seen a lot of cool things from helicopters, and this was right up there with any of the coolest I've seen.
A sunny August morning. Attentive eyes in the sky saw how the energy from the landslide and tsunami changed the Earth's anatomy.
You couldn't miss the big chunk of the mountain that had fallen off and kind of landed mostly on the glacier and partially in the water.
Geophysicist Cyrus Reed had an idea of what he would see on the northern side of the fjord where the land had let go from the rock beneath it. But he had no idea what the southern side of the fjord would look like, where the tsunami had climbed into the forest.
The wave had run up to 1,500-ish feet, and that, I think, kind of took us aback. We knew that there was likely a splash on the other side, but we didn't realize how big it was.
That wave, estimated to be only a few hundred feet shy of the tallest recorded tsunami.
Nothing like that, no. I've seen, like I said, other stuff, but nothing quite like a 1,500-foot splash wave.
The trees in the water's powerful path forever altered.
We could see where the alders had all their their bark peeled off, and so we kind of got an estimate for how high up that splash on the opposite side of the landslide was.
And the evidence of the wave was not confined.
The way that the wave ran up in different places was really interesting, and the extent to which it ran up when it was even pretty far away from the source of the wave itself, that too was striking to me.
This, a reminder of the Earth's power.
You really realize that the Earth is dynamic. It changes all the time. It feels sort of solid and stationary to us, but it's not.
Michaela Clark, Alaska's news source.
On our website and mobile app, Reed explains what he learned from seeing the destruction and what he thinks is the most important thing for scientists right now when it comes to situations like this. The city and borough of Juneau has begun work on a $10 million renovation to Marine Park. That's on the waterfront in downtown Juneau. Lauren Varelli with CBJ Parks and Rec says the project is aimed at turning the park into a gathering space for the city to host things such as performances and other large events.
We'll have lots of seating, covered picnic tables. There's gonna be a little small play area for kids. So it's like a great central park in the downtown core right on the water. We're really excited about this, as you know, we've been working on it for years, and to actually see it, the project start and have a new park next summer is like really exciting.
Borelli says the cost of the project will be paid entirely through marine passenger fees. She anticipates the renovation to be done by April of next year, also adding there will be no changes to traffic flow in the summer. Rivers and lakes around Alaska are popular spots for recreation when they ice over during the winter. But in the interior, hikers are being asked to take precautions in some areas. Alex Bengal tells us what's happening and how you can stay safe.
Measurements taken by the National Weather Service on Tuesday show overflow water on a number of iced-over lakes and rivers in the interior, sometimes up to 6 inches deep. This event happens when the weight of the snow on the ice pushes it down, causing the water beneath to flow over the sides and through cracks to the top of the ice.
You'll typically get an overflow event in any year once you have solid ice formation and then a large snow event. We, in this case, have had 3 large snow events kind of in a row that created a large snowpack pretty quickly.
It doesn't happen every year, but it can be seen regularly, causing a hazard if those on the ice aren't wearing waterproof footwear tall enough for the overflow.
For someone who's out for a prolonged period of time, soaking their footwear is not safe.
Snow machines can get stuck in the overflow water, eventually freezing in place. Hazards that can be avoided by staying on the trails, which compact the snow and freeze the overflow.
When you get in trouble is when you start walking off of the established trails into like unbroken snow.
These overflow situations were not found on every body of water, and where they are, the water is expected to freeze eventually. But for now, that's one more reason to stay vigilant when outdoors during the winter. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
A space that once served Fairbanks kids could be buzzing with children again, this time as a bigger, busier home for the Fairbanks Children's Museum. Alex Bengal shows us what it would take to move the museum into City Hall.
For 30 years, the Boys and Girls Club operated in this space adjacent to City Hall, until last year when the nonprofit closed its Fairbanks location. Now, city officials are considering leasing the unused space to the Fairbanks Children's Museum. On Tuesday, the advisory committee chose the museum's application to move forward to the City Council for approval. The city and museum are still negotiating lease terms, but Executive Director Meredith Maple is hoping for up to a 75-year deal. The Children's Museum offers interactive exhibits, foster care visitation, baby social time, and other services. Maple says a move into City Hall would mean more space for children's programs, including room for the Fairbanks Wellness Coalition, larger summer camps, and more classrooms.
In this new space, we would have almost 8,000 square feet just for exhibits. and then double the classroom space separate from that, which would allow us to offer more summer camps. So we'd be able to have more kids per camp. It would offer more birthday party rentals.
The childcare facility is actually ready for move-in. The rest of the space, this gym included, it will need major renovations to make their vision and their dream come alive here.
Mayor O'Neill proposed an ordinance granting the lease, which is up for consideration on March 23rd. If it is approved, Maple says it would still take the museum about 4 years to move into its new home, breathing new life into a space long connected with the children of Fairbanks. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
Saturday was the final day of Ferrandi 2026. We'll have a look at the ceremonial start of the Iditarod later on, but that wasn't the only staple Alaskan race that took place on 4th Avenue over the weekend. A few hours after the mushers began their journeys, hundreds of people embarked on a slightly smaller journey of just a few blocks with reindeer running alongside. It's an Alaska tradition that brought in runners from near and far and left a strong impression on everyone.
That was a frosty good time. I really enjoy it every year.
I've never seen one that close, and I really couldn't see it with the mask on, but as they came past me, I finally got to see where they were and everything.
It was hard. It was fun. It was hard. They were fast. Yeah, they were fast.
Now only 353 days until the next Ferrandi, slated to begin on February 25th of next year, so mark your calendars. Up next, the Iditarod is officially underway. On Saturday, mushers and dogs got a bit of a warm-up in Anchorage with the ceremonial start. Alaska's news source was on site, and we'll share with you the sights and sounds of the day right after the break.
We do have much quieter conditions settling back in across the state, along with some colder weather. I'll let you know just how cold we'll get this week. But first at sunrise, 8:34 in Anchorage, 7:29 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in. 15 minutes past the hour on this Monday morning. And looking ahead at the weather, Aaron, we've got the return of some really cold temperatures.
Yeah, not only here in South Central, but the state as a whole, which actually may be some good news for those mushers along the Iditarod Trail. Thankfully, we're not talking about any significant winter weather, but there will be some cold conditions along the Iditarod Trail. Colder weather, though, settling back in across the state this week. We'll see areas of the interior seeing lows dropping as cold as about 30 to 45 below over the next couple of mornings. And, of course, we still holding on to some snow and localized areas of wintry mix as you head out towards southeast Alaska. And that will amount to the potential that we could see about 5 to 10 inches of snow accumulation for parts of the Panhandle through the middle of the week. Notice these temperatures this morning: 12 below in Bethel as well as McGrath, 18 below in Kotzebue. Along the slope, we're seeing temperatures as cold as about 20 below. And while here in Anchorage, we are sitting at 7 degrees, there is some locations across South Central with some of those sub-zero values to start off the morning. Now, compared to this time yesterday, South Central not seeing any significant drop in temperatures, but notice off towards the west and northwest, we've got temperatures anywhere from about 5 to 25 degrees colder than this time yesterday. That colder weather will steadily filter into South Central as we welcome in the coming days, so be prepared for those colder mornings to stay with us. We've got a ridge of high pressure out over the western Aleutians. This is going to directly impact the weather across the state. That drop in that jet stream is keeping that colder weather locked in place across Alaska, and we're not going to see much movement in this cold weather here through the rest of this week. So expecting to hold on to that ridge out west, and then you can see that colder weather just kind of cycles through the Alaska's South Central as well as Southeast as we welcome in the coming days. And we are going to see the return to temperatures across South Central, potentially dropping as low as about 10 to 15 below in some of those colder spots. We're also going to be watching some of those gap winds increasing across South Central. Now, most of those winds will stay confined to Seward, out towards Homer, Whittier, Portage, as well as parts of eastern Prince William Sound. Inland areas of South Central, we can't rule out some winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. And one area we are going to be watching is parts of the valley, where we could see the potential for winds gusting about 30 to 50 miles per hour through the middle of the week. This is not guaranteed, but we do have that potential to see that occur with that current setup weather pattern that we do have across the state. So just keep that in in mind. Not any significant wind concerns across South Central, but we will see some of the strongest winds potentially out towards Seward, where we could see some winds throughout the week, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. Outside of that, we do stay dry across South Central. There's that ongoing snow showers that will stay with the Panhandle through at least the middle of the week. And of course, you can see the open waters of the northern Gulf of Alaska will keep some light snow showers in the forecast. But as far as the state as a whole and here in South Central, we are going to stay dry. We've got plenty of sunshine that will stick around in the forecast with those daily highs continuing to remain on the chillier side. There's those temperatures you can see topping out in the low to mid-teens for the rest of this week. Overnight lows dropping down into sub-zero territory. And again, some of the coldest spots across South Central could drop as low as 10 to 15 below.
On Saturday, before mushers set out on the official race to Nome from Willow, fans got a chance to see them and their team of dogs in action in Anchorage for the ceremonial start. Sports director Jordan Rodenberger got a chance to catch up with a few of them before their teams headed down 4th Avenue.
He hails from Torpa, Norway. He is in our expedition class.
It is a parade of sled dogs through downtown Anchorage. Iditarod 54 ceremonial start, a showcase for the sport and these four-legged athletes, and the excitement surrounding this year's race, both palpable and audible.
Today's for the fans, and then tomorrow's for the dogs. Let's party.
I feel so grateful to be here for our fans and our supporters and our sponsors, and to put on a show for Alaska and the whole world.
And while many of the challenges still lie ahead of them, just getting to the Iditarod starting line is a victory for many of these mushers.
I mean, it's been a cold winter. Everything's breaking. We've got 2 trucks and they're both in the shop, so we're borrowing vehicles. And but the more truck trouble you have getting to the start line, the better you do. So I think that's a positive outcome, hopefully.
Just getting here is a full challenge in itself. We've traveled a long way just to be here.
Each musher with their own reason for choosing this race and this lifestyle.
And my mom sent me a newspaper clipping, and my great-grandfather carried mail around the time of the Serum Run, and when she sent me that, I just kind of realized this is my purpose.
You know, for me, it's not as much of a sport as it is a way of life and an important part of my culture. And so, you know, I'm just really happy to be here and, you know, in good company.
I don't like to think that I'm getting too old for it. I feel like I'm in the prime, but I was supposed to go see this specialist since 2 months ago. I'm like, I'll deal with it after Iditarod. I'm not going to get told that I have something wrong with me and not go to Nome. I'll deal with it after Iditarod. So that's what the Iditarod means to me. In a nutshell, everything's for Iditarod.
The ceremonial start, very much a celebration. The race clock will officially begin Sunday in Willow at 2 p.m. as the 1,000-mile journey to Nome begins. Jordan Rodenberger, Alaska's news source.
And now they're off on their way to Nome. Once again, sports director Jordan Rodenberger joined them again in Willow Sunday, gathering their final thoughts before pulling the hook and setting out.
Go. Look at this big cow. I didn't see his mullet blowing in the wind. I think it's hiding in his wisdom.
Iditarod 2026 officially underway as 37 mushers and their four-legged athletes have began the 1,000-mile journey to Nome. And with all the preparation it took just to get to the starting line, they're looking forward to getting out on the trail and in their element.
Check out the beautiful dog coats as Joey comes across the lake out there.
I still get super nervous, actually. Yeah, I get a lot of knots in my stomach and feel like I'm gonna puke.
I got here first, and I'm like, I thought we were running a little behind. We had a 2-hour drive this morning, and I still was the first one here. I'm like, all right, well, I'm trying to be first here just so I can be first to Nome.
It's a huge sigh of relief, and then you're just running dogs, and then before you know it, you're 4 hours down the trail, and then you're camping, and then you're waking up and doing it all over again, and then, you know, just keep on doing that and 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 keep on doing that. And it feels like it's never going to end, and then before you know it, you're at the finish line. And then before you know it, you're here again.
Oh, we're making it to Nome. We'll see you in Nome.
And while mushers are encouraged to pack only what they need, there's always a little bit of room for something special in their sled and in their heart.
Yeah, I've got some ashes of dogs that passed away, and ones that were special to me. One that was killed in an accident 4 years ago when we were training for this, and I've also got a picture of a couple of dogs that I'm carrying for one of my sponsors, one of my main sponsors.
I lost my mom this winter, and she got me started in this, and so just thinking a lot about her right now.
You carrying anything with you along the way, remembrance or?
Yeah, I got her old mushing hat that she used to wear, and then I got some of her ashes with me, and yeah, it's gonna be a really special trip to Nome, and she always wanted to do it, so.
2, 1, go!
Next stop, Nome. Well, actually, there's quite a few checkpoints in between where we will have coverage throughout until teams reach Nome. Jordan Rodenberger, Alaska's news source.
And here's a look at where the mushers are currently. Thomas Varner is in the lead with Kel Rock and Paige Drobny rounding out the top 3. But remember, the race is only just getting started. The leaders are already over 120 miles in the race, making some very good time. We'll continue to keep an eye on the race, so make sure you tune back in to find out if your favorite teams are leading the pack.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.